Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Marketing Your Practice podcast, where I have the absolute pleasure of simplifying marketing and social media for chiropractors. Let me start with this. How the heck are you? How was your Easter? I know it's a little bit past Easter, but I hope you had a time to rest and relax. I know I did. We'd had an incredibly busy March, and so it was nice to not do a lot. I did have a game of golf. I've started playing golf again, and this is an addiction that's biting me quite hard at the moment. So for those of you that like golf, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that are confused by golf, then I get it. It's a confusing game. Hey, in today's episode, I want to share a couple of little stories with you. I want to start with, I had a fantastic chat with a great friend of the podcast and one of my great friends, Tony Ebel, yesterday. Now, when you get an excited message, because Tony, even at his base level, I think he will admit he has a base level of kind of attention deficit. He's such an excited guy. And I got a message from him yesterday with an even more excited version of Tony. In fact, I think at the end of the message, he even gave himself a mic drop. He was telling me a story he'd had the day, so this was yesterday in practice. He'd done 5 reporter findings with 5 separate parents, and all with regards to their kids. So for those of you that might not know Tony, he's a chiropractor, a brilliant chiropractor with a real focus on pediatrics, but particular really tricky pediatric cases. He, really works in the space of learning difficulties, ADHD, these kids that he refers to as the perfect storm. So complicated cases. And he remarked, first of all, one of the things he said to me, he said, all 5 reporter findings they're remarkably easy. He said the easiest that they've ever been. The parents had very few questions to ask. They were ready to get started and they just wanted to know what to do next. Now, Tony's a clever character and he wanted to investigate a little bit, like, why were these so incredibly easy? And he had a chat a little bit about them in terms of how did you hear about the practice? What of our content have you engaged in? And every one of them, without a miss, had spent the previous week binge watching his content on social media. They'd been watching his videos, they'd been engaging with his posts. And in essence, what Tony's social media had done beforehand had built authority and expertise in Tony, had allowed him to start to see trust into the relationship. What the reporter findings had done is that it already done, what the videos had already done is that the videos had already done the reporter findings for him. Now, I find it really interesting because every week I'm talking with chiropractors about the challenges that they're having with social media. And the challenges really tend to fit in kind of 2 buckets. I wonder which one of these you might fit into, or maybe you might fit into the 3rd bucket there as well. One is maybe they're of my generation. I'm 46 years old. I didn't grow up with the internet, let alone grow up with social media. They know that they should be doing social media. I chuckle at that because sometimes people come to me, I know I should be doing social media, but they have no idea what doing social media looks like. What does it involve? Those kind of things there too. And then the other group of this is that they have tried social media to different extents. Some of them have actually engaged with social media agencies. They've paid thousands, often $1,000-$2,000 a month. Not unusual for them to have dropped 20 grand. And they get to the end of that 12 months and maybe they've got a few more people following their Instagram account, but it hasn't led to 1 new patient coming into them, let alone 5 families coming in and prepaying for their care, like happened with Tony in the story that I was telling you about. So these are the most common conversations that I'm having from there as well. It leads on to, I put a post inside my Instagram account last week where I said delegating, man, my words are a bit mixed up, delegating your social media and your marketing will give you the same kind of results as delegating your relationship. Now, if you want to have a fabulous relationship, and I love the relationship that I have with my beautiful wife, Lauren, I need to put in the time and it needs to be me. Now, I can't pay a virtual assistant to take Lauren out to dinner, to go walking with her each and every day, to sit on the couch and debrief about her day. It needs to be me there. Now, I understand why it's so incredibly attractive that we might want to have somebody else take over all our social media. And there's companies that will do it for you. There are companies that specialize in doing that for chiropractors. They'll post multiple times for you each and every week. But we need to take a step back and go, what is social media really about? And why is Tony Ebel so damn successful at it? When I think about the core foundations of what I see social media success being based upon is, first of all, it's about building relationships. It's social. And so if somebody else is posting for me and posting, great quotes and inspirational quotes, and maybe even sharing research about chiropractic, that doesn't build relationships. That might build a little bit of authority and expertise, but it doesn't build relationships. Now, the best way, side note, to build relationships and connect with people is with video. Now, there are lots of different ways to do it. Video is absolutely the best way to be doing it as well. So we need to be building relationships. The next thing that you should be doing in your social media posts is you need to be solving problems. Really, really important. You need to be solving problems. Nothing will build trust more than when you solve a problem for somebody, when you give somebody some results in advance before them even needing to come in to see you. If you've shared a video, a post, a blog article that actually helps somebody get some results. So maybe Tony could, clarify some, different information for these folks that are really struggling with their kids. When you solve problems for people, you build massive amounts of trust. And the game, really, the big game that we're playing with social media is building trust. Trust is at an all-time low, full stop, particularly across healthcare. And for us as chiropractors, it's terrible. It's abysmal. We are always ranked incredibly lowly on the trust scale. So we need to be doing it. And then the third thing that we need to be doing is making offers. Okay, so now what I'm not suggesting is that you need to be involved in every step of the way. Okay, in fact, that would be really bad advice. It would be a waste of your time and it would be ineffective. But there are some parts that you just can't delegate. If I'm talking about, video, if I'm talking about solving problems, nobody understands your patients like you do. The message needs to be really focused. And if you're sending out the same message that 2,000 other chiropractors are this week, how are you different? Why should I come and see you? How does that help me build a relationship with you? How does that build trust or authority? Now, I know it's super attractive. I wish that, I was going to say, I wish that I could delegate my relationship to somebody else, but I don't. I love it. And that same way, I love social media too, because I'm in this game to change people's lives, which is why hopefully you're in it too, to make a difference. And that's really what social media is. And that's why, people go to me, Angus, that sounds like a lot of work. I'm like, heck yeah, it will be. But that's the price that you're going to pay if you actually want to run a successful business. I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk said something like this. He said, if you're not on social media, if you're not building relationships, if you're not building community by 2023, it's gone. One of my favorite sport heroes a coach used to have this saying that it's easier to keep up than it is to catch up. Now, yes, it takes a lot of work, as I go back to that point beforehand. But you know what? What if some young whippersnapper comes into your town and starts building those relationships, gets in front of you, and then you're trying to catch up? That would be a shame, particularly when you're like me. If you've been in practice for 20 years, you've built massive amounts of authority in your town, and then somebody else can come in on social media and build relationships like that. All of a sudden, there's another 5 families that are going to Tony that could have gone to somebody else. But because Tony did the work, that's why they ended up with him as well. So I want to caution you if you're delegating everything. If somebody else is responsible for all your posts, you're not even seeing if this is going on in the background. That's probably the primary reason why you're not seeing results with your social media. You need to be involved with it. Now, if you're in one of those first categories, like I said beforehand, where you don't even know where to start, then I've been thinking about this a lot recently. And that's why I've put together a 5-day social media made simple challenge for chiropractors. So I know listening to this episode, I have lots of different health practitioners. And for you guys, I love you lots and I appreciate you listening. This one's just for us as chiropractors. There's some stuff inside of there that I'll be teaching that's very much focused on us. I'll do a broader focused one, which will direct towards natural health practitioners. I'll do that in a little while too. The goal of this social media challenge is really simple, is to get you over the overwhelm, to show you how to build relationships and show you what you need to do to start to fill your appointment book. Actually get appointments, get people coming into your practice, get money in your bank. Yes, making money. It's okay to make money. You should be doing that. If you're helping people, changing people's lives, social media should be putting money in your bank. You can bet that at the end of that morning for Tony, when he had 5 families start on there too, in fact, I know that all 5 of them prepaid. I know that was a lot of money that went into his bank. Okay, that's what we're going to do in this 5-day challenge. Now, it's starting next week. Okay, that's April 19th. Every day, we're going to jump in live in a closed private Facebook group, and we're going to go right from the very basics of understanding what are the rules of social media. And by the rules, I mean, the unwritten rules. I've touched on some of them in terms of, adding value, solving problems, building relationships, those kind of things. That's the foundation that it needs to come from. I'll give you another hint. If you're going to social media to get something, to get new patients, you've already started off on the wrong foot. Social media is about being generous. This is this new economy that we need to be incredibly generous. So day one of that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over the very foundations of, how do we make this successful? Now, if we miss out on this is the number one reason why I see people really fail with their social media, is they don't get the foundations kind of laid down right. So we'll be going live, or I'll be going live inside the Facebook group each and every day. At the end of it, I'm going to give you little bits of homework for you to do. So this is a challenge. This is not a workshop that you will be sitting back and passively observing. I mean, you could. I can't stop you from doing that. But if you want to get the results from it, if you want to get over the overwhelm, build relationships, and fill your appointment book, then I'm going to push you sometimes a little bit outside of your comfort zone. If that sounds like something you're up for, then this challenge is going to be great for you. At the end of day two, we're going to talk about platforms. So people will often say to me, should I be on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn? And the answer to that question is, it depends. And then on day two, I'll dive a little bit deeper and I'll help you find the platform that's right for you, so you're not wasting time in a spot where your patients aren't. We'll talk a little bit about how often we should be posting and when the best times of the day to post as well. This will really help you break through the noise. Okay, you've got to make sure you're starting on the right platform. Day three, the end of day three, you are going to have, if you do the work, the homework, you're going to have a detailed outline of your next 12 weeks of content, okay? Knowing what you need to post, how to put together content that builds relationships, that is valuable, that will get engagement. And then as well as having a detailed outline for the next 12 weeks, you'll have a roadmap so you'll know what to produce for the next 12 months and beyond, okay? So if you've struggled in the past with content creation, we'll have that solved all by the end of day three. Now, after day four, we'll get into the specifics of content. What type of content builds relationships fastest, builds engagement the fastest, is the best to solve problems. What type of content at the moment is the best on social media? I'm going to tell you exactly what that is and how you can get that done as effortlessly as possible. Now, like anything new, if it's new for you for the first time, there are challenges that go along with it. And then finally on day five, we'll have a conversation around what do you need to be responsible for and what can you delegate? What are the non-essential marketing strategies that your team members should be doing, that you should be outsourcing out to Fiverr or Etsy or Craigslist, any of those kind of places, your niece, your nephew, those kind of things there too. This will help you save an enormous amount of time. It'll give you more free time. So 5 days, we'll be inside of this group here. We'll be interacting together. I've got some bonus guests that are going to come along most days as well that'll help us with the teaching. This is going to be a really fun, mostly fun, interactive, great learning experience. I want to, don't get left behind, my friend. As chiropractors, we have such an important message. We have communities that are really looking for what we have to offer. And we don't have a really great social media strategy. We risk two things, either becoming invisible or maybe even worse, becoming irrelevant. Somebody else will take our spot for it there too. If you feel frustrated and overwhelmed with social media, don't know how to do social media, or if you've done it before and it's just not worked for you, then come and join me on this 5-day challenge. Okay, there's going to be some work to do. I want to let you know that up front. If you're going to get these results, then you're going to need to do some work. Now, you can get onto the anguspyke.com/challenge. I'll have a link inside the podcast, so whichever podcast app you're listening to this on, or maybe you're watching it over on my website, there'll be a link underneath that you can get to that too. So this is a little bit time sensitive. So this will be going live and beginning on April 19th, the Monday. But that being said, even if you get this, perhaps even by midweek, Wednesday, it's still worth jumping in and joining me because you'll be able to catch up, okay? Now, I also want to be really clear with this too. After 36 hours after I've done this challenge, I'm taking the videos down. If you're telling yourself I'll get to and I'll watch this after, you won't. I know now, I've done this long enough to know that if we don't do it now, there's no room for procrastination on this. It's get it done. Now's the time to jump in. If you want to start to there's no mistake. I will literally take you through and reverse engineer what Tony has done to get the type of results that he gets. And you can get them too. As wonderful as Tony is and as special as he is, he doesn't have anything different than you and I do. I see the type of results that Tony's getting with many of the people that I teach to do this stuff, both those that in my coaching group, but people who just, I get messages each week of people who just listen to the podcast and implement and get these type of really great results as well. Come and join me for the 5-day social media made simple challenge for chiropractors, okay? anguspyke.com/challenge. We'll get you the registration link. It's completely free. There's no charge to any of this, and you're going to finish understanding what you need to do and how you need to use social media so it starts to fill your practice. Gang, that's it from me today. As always, thanks for all that you do. Keep saving lives. I look forward to seeing you back here real soon. But hopefully before I see you back here, I see you inside the social media challenge. Okay, see you soon. Bye. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come and check out the Community Influencer Program. It's my monthly coaching program where we take all this material and I'll work one-on-one with you to apply, implement, systematize, and help guide you and your practice to the next level. Now you can join me on over at adiomedia.com/join. That's adiomedia.com/join. I'd love to see you in there.